Hmm. Oh, hey, hey, there you are. Hi, Stuart Rice with Level Up Sales and Management Coaching. Today, I wanted to talk to you about the word no, and just kind of casually speak about this. And I'll check and see if there's any comments. But hey, let's talk about no. But before we do that, I do want to talk to you and kind of show you something. I'm actually working on a book right now, and boy, I just screwed that bit up. So harsh. Ah, can I start this over? Man, let's keep going with it. You guys like the goofs. You like the mistakes, so you can make fun of me later. That's cool. Hey, I'm working on a book, the sales book for people who hate sales, and I'm hoping that maybe you'd like to maybe help me out a little bit and get your name in the book. I'm offering on Indiegogo right now. You can get the book, a digital edition, for $1. And because you're an early adopter and doing this, you get to actually tell me what parts of the book you like, what parts of the book you don't like, and if I made any obvious grammatical or spelling errors. So, hey, head over to levelupyoursales.com. Click on, it's the very first thing that'll show up. Click on that. For $1 at Indiegogo, not only do you get to support me, but you also get the book for $1, and you get to tell me all the screw-ups I've made, including the screw-up I made for this video already. But that's not why I'm here to talk to you today. What I'm here to talk to you about today is actually the word no. And let's face it, no is the bane of every salesperson's experience. We like no for ourselves. It's a very empowering word. No. Kids learn it very early because that's really the only word they get to use to kind of define what they are allowing and what they're not going to allow. And maybe they use it too much. And we all agree, customers use it way too much. But I'm actually here to tell you that no is not a bad word. Like this says, no is not a barrier, not a bammier, as someone earlier had said, but a barrier. It's not a barrier. It doesn't blockade us. It doesn't stop us from the sale. All it does is it offers boundaries. So for instance, if you're showing something that's maybe too expensive, customer's going to say no because it's a boundary for them. They don't have the money or they're not comfortable spending the money. So we need to figure out, how do we turn those no's, which are so negative, and we hate negative stuff, except for in Facebook Lives. Evidently, you love to read negative headlines. It's so bizarre. But anyway, no, we want to change those no's into something that we can actually use. And it's possible. And what we need to do is we need to understand that the no has value to the customer, and it also has value to us. When a customer says no, we know it's going to be about either a value proposition or a pricing proposition. That's really the reason people say no to offerings, whatever you're offering. For instance, value is going to be, how much is that thing worth to them? How much is it going to make their lives better? Is it going to make their lives easier? Is it going to save them time? Is it going to make them healthier? What is the benefit to the customer? And if the benefit is good enough, all of a sudden that product, that service will have value. So we need to make sure that we're actually showing something with tremendous value to the customer. And the second aspect of that is the price. So does the price match up with the value of the product? In some cases, it's lower than what the customer is expecting, and that's an instant yes. Sometimes it's congruent. It's right there at the same level. Customers will say, more than likely, they will say yes. The problem is that when we haven't built enough value into the product and we've asked for too high of a price, all of a sudden when this happens, very rarely do customers say yes. In fact, they'll tell you anything to get out of the sale at that point. Nope. is hopefully the one thing they will say is they will say no to you. So what do we do with those no's? Well, I've actually got a question here that I really highly suggest that, especially if you've established good rapport, which I know all of you have. And if you haven't, by the way, I've got this book coming out. So the sales book for people who hate sales. And there's actually a whole chapter on building rapport. It's a very in-depth chapter on that. I'm not here to sell my wares. I'm here to give you some information. So once you've built a rapport, when a customer says no to you, it's a really simple ask. Is that just something you're not interested in? This will do one of two things. Number one, it'll give a customer an opportunity to say, no, not interested. Sometimes we don't align our products well with what the customer is looking for. And that's quite possibly the case. If a customer is asking for something and we're offering something that doesn't quite meet the mark, it does not have the features, does not have the benefits, does not offer the service that that customer or that client's looking for, they're going to tell you no. And that's okay. If that's not something they're looking for, that's great. I'm going to be honest. I do this pretty often when it's add-ons for extended service. I'm a big Mac person and I don't use the Apple Care because I don't need it for myself. Most of the time I figure out the issue by myself, and I enjoy that. And that's not to say anybody shouldn't buy Apple Care. There's a lot of people that should buy Apple Care. Personally, I am just not one of those. So I'll always say no because I'm not interested. It doesn't actually benefit me that much. However, for a lot of people, Apple Care or one of those types of services is an incredible value. But when they hear the price of Apple Care, that's when they freak out. And that's where you can do a good job of doing one of two things. Number one, try to build the value. That's an okay thing to do. Building value in this case might actually help you close more deals. That's cool. The problem that we run into, though, is that customers have no idea what the actual value, dollar value is on the services that you're offering. And so a lot of times they'll say no because they don't understand what it is that you're offering and why it should be that price. Hopefully this is making sense. So the best thing to do in that case is do something that I call the no friction sales process, which means that you're not going to try to build value in something that the customer's already said no to, because I personally think that's a bad idea. Instead, what we want to do is we actually want to show somebody the lower priced option, because because when we ask that question, is this just something you're not interested in? A lot of times people say, yes, it's just more than I was planning on spending. In this case, show them something that's less expensive that does something similar. In Apple Care's case, you really don't have that option. I'm not here to try to sell things for Apple. They're kind of good at it all by themselves. But for the rest of us, we usually have that sales thing, that one product underneath or that one service underneath that we can show a savings, a dollar savings, because the customer's already told us money's kind of the issue in this case. And then what we can do is we can show them what they can get for that amount. And what's kind of amazing about that is when we don't fight the customer and we just show them something of lower price, high value, low price, what they start to do is they start to, in their heads, compare the two between the product that you originally offered and this new one that's a lower price point. For the customer, they get to weigh the option of, are they willing to sacrifice some of the things that they're going to lose for the less money? And what's amazing is most of the time, it helps build the value of the more expensive product, the more expensive service, and you don't have to do any of the sweat. You don't have to do any of the hard work. And it's organic. Customers do it all by themselves, and it becomes the customer's idea to make that decision. And you know what customers really like is they like the empowerment. We're all little kids. We all like to be able to say, no, I don't want to eat my Brussels sprouts. And wouldn't it be magical if you said no and the Brussels sprouts were taken away? You know what you instantly want to do with those Brussels sprouts? Well, why was that so easy? Now I kind of want them back. That's exactly what you're going to do, is you're going to give that customer the empowerment to make the decision to spend less money. But by doing that, you're actually growing the value of the product that you were originally showing. So I love no, because it's going to cut down on the amount of wasted time we're going to have. Look, I don't want to try to sell somebody something that they absolutely don't need. You want monster truck tires and you drive a Prius? I'm wasting my time, wasting the customer's time. All we're going to do is frustrate everybody. So instead, let's give them an out. If they don't want it, great, move on. Let's go to the next thing. However, if they also say, I am interested in that, but it's too much money, which is usually what happens, now we have a way to kind of talk to the customer and offer them some solutions that, well, quite honestly, make life easier for them to make that decision. Lower money makes it easier to make that decision. Well, I hope that this has been helpful for you. Again, the phrase is up in the notes, up at the top in the post. Is this something you're just not interested in? Is the phrase is the question I suggest when you get into that situation. But don't fear a no. No's are great because they're definitive answers, and that's really what our goal is as salespeople. Thank you so much. I got to get back to work because I'm working really hard on finishing up this book, but I wanted to spend some time chatting with you on the video camera because why not? I spent all this money on lights and all of that stuff. Anyway, have a good, I will come back and talk to you on Thursday. All right. Thanks.